Hello, my buddies. Listen up. Feel Good Season 2 is dropping very soon. And here is the Season 1 recap, so we can remember what did May do. So it will make more sense about what they will do next. So here we go. This is May. May does comedy and doesn't do labels. We like May, even though her jokes are not the best at first. May meets George. Not George from the jungle, but George from London. George has always been with dudes, but she likes May and they kiss, and we flash forward and they start living together. But then we find out that George hasn't introduced her friends to May, and that May is an addict. Lisa Kudrow, aka the mom we all want to have, kind of reveals this information to George. She also reveals that May is premature. But anyways, George gets a little worried. May goes to a meeting and meets a nice lady, and they ditch and get a cup of coffee instead. Later, May has a bad moment but handles it. We see a dude with a weed suit. Then May goes home and talks to George, kind of. And it seems that everything is okay, but again, kind of. George goes away for a wedding, alone, because she said there were no plus ones, but she was lying. May misses her and calls her a lot. George tells May not to call her, so May puts her phone in a box and goes looking for a sponsor, Maggie. Maggie wants to go to an adventure where we find out that Maggie is following her daughter, which is surprising, because she said she had no daughters. Her name is Lava. So May leaves the adventure and goes to the pub, where they tell jokes. Then has a complicated situation, but then this dude, which name I don't remember, shows up and takes May to the apartment. The next day, May goes to a meeting and they have a big realization about them being dependent on George. Meanwhile, George has an opportunity to tell her mom about May, but ignores it. So she comes home, doesn't do anything new, even though she wanted to, and made George and the man watch later. May visits George at school. George locks them in a closet, for no fun reasons. Now they have trouble in bed. May wants for George to stop hiding them, so George is invited to a friend's gathering and brings May, because George's boyfriend, Jonathan Crenshaw, couldn't make it. Also, Maggie's daughter Lava calls herself Laura, and meets May at their gig, and May talks weirdly about Maggie. Also, Laura throws some gay vibes. But back to the gathering. May gets angry with George with all the reason. The closet is boring, so ends up leaving and goes to Maggie's house, where they meet Laura again, and she indeed listens to Girl in Red. Meanwhile, George breaks a glass while dancing to Achy Breaky Heart, or something like that. She asks people to call Corn, which is a synonym for May. In the hospital, she's full of morphine and tells her friends indirectly that she is dating May. May has to talk about making amends on their meetings, and their mother is in town, or in England, which is closer than usual. May and George go with May's parents to a cat's funeral, and May wants to make amends. Lisa Kudrow steals the show. May is unavailable to make amends as they wanted to, and ends up in a heavy conversation with their mother in a ghost train. Then George is told that she's straight and her relationship won't last long. Then May has a deep talk with her dad. George goes to a gay bar and mentions the L-word, and at the end things are a little better. May and George have a talk and end up staying another night at the beautiful beach. George is fangirling about a guy that is coming to May's club. May is taking pills to sleep. May has a meeting with friends and family, and Lava tests George, and George gets mad. May meets with the guy, and the guy gives off a weird vibe. George says things that confuse May. May is questioning their gender identity. George catches the pills that May is taking and decides to go to their comedy set that night. The guy with weird vibes gives some advice to May about being honest in their set. They take it and people laugh, but George is not that happy with the set. The guy with weird vibes invites May to a tour, but then proceeds to do drugs and tries to have sex with May. I knew he was weird, but Nick, May's friend, kicks him out. Then May goes home to George and they talk, but they end up breaking up. So May goes to Lava's house. May now is in Lava's house. They have been there for 2 weeks. Then they have turkey-lurkey time, and May calls it a mistake. George's roommate gives her worms to cope with the breakup. Meanwhile, May is upset at their meeting and says a lot of things, so a white dude wants to go party with them. They go drink, then May goes to the club, and it turns out that they are more famous now because their last stand-up got a lot of views. After their stand-up, Maggie appears and says that she knows about them sleeping with Lava, and that they broke her heart, so Maggie says goodbye to May. May breaks their sobriety, then they want more, and they are at the white dude's place, but the dude calls his sponsor, and May doesn't have no more party. But they go very early at the meeting the next day, and meets with the head of the meetings. They have a conversation. May wants to go home with their parents. Then they meet George, and they have a talk. Then George's mom appears out of nowhere, and they have a very awkward introduction. Then May and George getting on, but May is still confused about everything that is going on. And that is all for today. I hope that you are now able to see Feel Good Season 2. And to my 20-something subscribers, you're the reason why I wake up every morning with a smile on my face. Stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you later.